So while I'm doing dishes, I had the idea to actually just talk about this. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video for the channel. But there is the talk of grifter types like Jeremy Hambly of the Quartering, Jeremy Hambly of the Quartering, or like Critical Drinker, people that are being called grifters. I want to talk about them for a moment. Now, these people that are being accused of being grifters, you could argue very strongly that this is the case, that these guys are grifters, as we say, or as whoever says, because they make it a point to chase, the news cycle, and they profit off of that, and there's not really any hard work being done. Editing is not hard work; it's just taxing. Okay. Because all you have to do is just know how to edit a video, and it's fine, and it's not difficult. It's not difficult at all. Even like writing a script is not difficult if like you're expected to say some things, if you're expected to have a particular style. These things are not difficult. Okay, they're just not. Especially like, people know what to expect of you. You're tireless, and you're constant yammering about shit that we already know you're gonna say. So these people, these grifter guys, if you want to call them that, the reason that the people that like them will not abandon them, at least not so easily, the reason why these guys will not fail so easily is because they provided a service that doesn't even cost anyone but the grifter guys. That's just how I'm going to refer to it, don't mind me. It only costs the grifter guys money, okay? So that's why it doesn't matter what you think of them, okay? It doesn't matter. People that have been keeping the public up to date on things going on, the people making these videos, they're saving people a lot of time. And though you might disagree with what they have to say, oftentimes a lot of what they say isn't incorrect because, as you know, an opinion, it could be disagreed with, but it doesn't mean that it's inherently right or wrong. It's just an opinion. There may be objectively bad opinions, but it doesn't really mean anything, right? Because anyone can agree or disagree with an opinion. Anyone can, right? You could have the most vile opinions on the planet, and the nicest person on the planet could find those opinions agreeable, okay? So let me go back a bit. So you have these grifter guys who provide a service to the public by rounding up information and forming an opinion that's expected of these guys, these grifter guys. So the work really isn't hard. It just takes time. And if you're making money, right, off of doing this stuff from home, you don't really have to worry about not having time to edit a video. It's difficult for someone like me to edit a video because I don't make money off of this. As nice as that would be, I don't make money off of this currently, if I ever could. And, I'd like to do this more often and provide a real service. And that's what these guys have done, is they provide a service. Because, even if you disagree with something that one of these grifter guys are saying, you have to understand is oftentimes the grifter guys they have an easy job because they just have to tap into what the general opinion would be. Because let's give you an example, right? A general opinion of LGBT bullshit, right, is that stuff is not natural to the first world. You could say, oh, well, that's not true, except really it is, if you think about it, because the majority of the Western world, the first world, is heterosexual. So, these people who make movies like Bros, they are not going to have a successful movie on their hands because what they say, what they do, what they put on screen is not accepted by the wider, broader audience because the general population, the average person, is having opinions of these things. That's why these things fail. It's not just because they're woke or whatever. It's because it's not natural to the predisposition, if that's the word I can use here. It's not natural to where a person would be situated with that kind of topic. Okay? That's just the truth of it. It doesn't matter if you think it's good, if you think representation, blah, blah, blah. None of that matters. And you'd be stupid to think otherwise. It matters to the gay kid or whatever, but most people are not gay kids. Okay? This is like really simple math, but I want to lay it out because it's part of the wider overarching point here. The things that need to be understood that are part of this conversation, whether I want it to be or not. So these grifter guys, right? And by the way, I don't say it like that to agree or disagree that these people are grifters, but rather just to sort of, hone in on, the people who would call these guys like the critical drinker, people that call people like critical drinker or mauler or any of these other guys, whiny people who are allies to gay people. Okay, so that the typical tone is whining. That's what it is. Which is why I grifter guys. That's why I do it like that, because that's the kind of sass you have to expect from someone who's critical of the grifter guys. The typical person who is critical, right? And the thing is, though, like it's not like those people that are critical, if you can say that, of those grifter guys. The majority of those people, it's not critical. It's surface level. It's surface level because you're going off of just your feelings. And you're going off your first impression. Which, I mean, I'm not going to say is so wrong. Except, like, what you have to say is not that deep, bro. But, so these grifter guys, they are providing a service for free. Okay? And so, because of that, people feel indebted to the grifter guys. Alright? People feel, that's why they're going to have millions of subscribers until, everything goes away. That's why. It doesn't matter that you can pitch a bitch, alright? What you can do, I mean, you can prove inconsistencies, I guess. I guess you could do that, right? I'm sure you can. And I don't doubt that you can, because I'm saying you can. I believe in you, or whatever. But you can't be expected to do much, especially since it's like, whoa, just splashed a bunch of water everywhere. You can't do much, especially since like the people who are like with that club over there, they're going to view people who are critical, have anything bad to say or whatever about like the critical drinker as another example of the same example. He sticks out like a sore thumb as far as all the grifter stuff goes, but I don't want to talk too much about that because it's not really part of what I'm going on about. Maybe I'll make it part of it, but anyway. The people in that camp over there, the critical drinker camp, they already consider you. They are predisposed to seeing you as someone who has the wrong opinion, has the bad opinion, because you're not with it, dude. Because, that's just how all these things operate. That's how clubhouses operate. If you have a problem with like the business practices of my company, and my company is trusted by countless people, like people who are going to hear from you, it doesn't matter, right, what you can say, because those people they're already bought in, right? The vast majority of them, or the average person of them, is not going to be swayed. There is a saying that goes something like, arguments don't win arguments. Optics do. Okay? So it doesn't matter like what you're saying so much, right? It's that you have to look a certain way because people are shallow. People are stupid. Okay? That's why people like me exist. Because a lot of you are stupid and don't know it. Okay? So I exist in the position that I am with, a small channel. Because the average person either can't find me, I'm not like trendy or whatever, right? Or I would be disagreed with, even though, a lot of what I have to say, if you were honest, you really could not disagree with things I have to say unless you were as an example, ideologically driven. The allegory of the lone pillar is a video where you could look at and take issue because you're ideologically driven. Okay? Just look how fucked up my hair is. But yeah, optics win arguments. Arguments do not. There's that other saying about it's easier to be fooled than to be convinced that you've been fooled. So, you know, these people who have provided you a service, right? So here's the thing about that service, okay? When I tell you and almost certainly prove to you that something that you had to spend money on or go to great lengths to pirate, or if you're foolish enough to just go off of reviews alone, you know, if I'm showing you that or presenting a strong enough argument that indicates that that thing is a piece of shit, I've just saved you money. And more importantly, I've saved you time. You know, they say time is of the essence and all this other shit. Well, you know, if I'm saving you money, I'm also saving your life in a small way, because a job is alchemy. And I'll be getting more into that topic, particularly here after long enough. But in essence, if a person is being saved time and money, there is a debt of gratitude to speak on with people who are honorable, okay? And a lot of people heavily dislike, you know, the concept, as a man especially, of being dishonorable, right? They may not recognize that that's what's going on with them, but, you know, I'll give you an example that proves this, right? A lot of tough guys, they take great issue with being called a bitch, okay? And of course, a bitch, with our current lingo, a bitch is a coward, and cowards are not honorable. So that's just what it is, right? So you cannot expect ever, I'm just wiping down my counter, you cannot expect ever that the people, the vast majority of those people would turn their back on, as again, the example being the critical drinker. I did, because I got tired of hearing the same thing over and over again, okay? I got tired of that. Like, you're boring. You're just fucking boring. If a person is going to leave that group, that camp, or whatever, it's because you have to find their information no longer useful, right? These guys, they are slaves. These guys, critical drinker stuff, they may get paid handsomely for their slave work, but they're slaves because their job is to say the same thing over and over again, because the industry, in great part, does not care about what the consumer thinks. You're a consumer. You are meant to eat blindly like the pig that you are, okay? So that is the dynamic here. That is the deal here, all right? People, sorry for all the clanking, those are butter knives there. These guys at Critical Drinker, they are slaves because they have to continually say the same thing because of what the industry is currently, okay? People who are intelligent eventually move on, right? If you're not intelligent, it means that you likely need the same thing told to you over and over again because you're not getting it, or you have memory problems. I have memory problems, and I found myself able to step away from all the Critical Drinker shit because it became spam mail after long enough. It's spam after long enough because it's not useful to me anymore, or it just was not useful because I understood all the shit in advance because I was well aware of how the industry is, right? But I still tuned in for a while because I was curious about, like, you know, just how bad is this movie, right? I was someone who really liked the spectacle, okay? I was someone who, at the time, enjoyed the spectacle because it's like, how much worse could it get? How bad is it? Are the rumors true? And then the Barbie movie came out, and I went and watched the Barbie movie after hearing from people. It was such a confusing thing. And then I was hearing from Critical Drinker this review, if you can call it that, of the Barbie movie, and found that he had no idea what he was even talking about. And that, for me, was like, because at that point, I had already stopped watching the Critical Drinker. At that point, I already had. And, it actually just made me angry because then it forecasted into my mind that all the prior weather reports could be false, and he just wants to say things so that the roads are clear and he can enjoy a quiet day in like some marketplace or whatever because everyone listened to him, not realizing he's Nicolas Cage or something. Okay? So this all I've gone over is why you will not be successful at getting people to stop watching the Critical Drinker or say really any bad things about him, because he and others like him provided a service that is invaluable, okay, and that is their career, is providing an invaluable service forever and ever. Even though you could say, oh well, this opinion he has, it's bad because gay people like to cry when they're sad or something. So you're not going to be successful at getting people to stop bothering with this guy because you're not intelligent, okay? You would, if you were intelligent, you would understand these things, right? But a lot of you people that have a problem with the Critical Drinker are communists. So you don't even understand business. You don't even understand supply and demand and what it means for a free service to save you hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of dollars. Okay? So to all the people, and this isn't me defending the Critical Drinker, I'm just explaining to you why you would not be successful at taking down a successful person. They are successful, you are not. They figured out how to make money. It doesn't matter if you think they're disingenuous or a liar or fucking whatever you want to say. That doesn't matter. What matters is what you do next with your life. You can't change reality because you disagree off the basis of people have feelings. And the fact that you would make a conceited effort to want to help with destroying industries that were better off without the people in them that are destroying shit now. I could tell you about some of my past debates, but I'll be harping on those at a later time because there's still work to be done. But in essence, again, you're not going to snap people away from what you might consider brainwashing because a service has been provided, okay? And whether or not you have an opinion about the things that people like Critical Drinker criticize, whether or not you have an opinion, that doesn't matter because if they're already like with the Critical Drinker thing, right? If they have a problem with like wokeness and stuff, then and Critical Drinker, it's easy for him to make money and easy for comment sections to fill with people that might be lying. If that's the case, like there's an economy there, okay? There's supply and demand. And to hear from so many other people that aren't the Critical Drinker, right? Now you have corroborating experiences that only just compound what people like Critical Drinker are saying, okay? You cannot change minds. You cannot change hearts, okay? All you can do is rile up your camp and further expose yourself as someone with worthless fucking feelings because you don't understand what matters. I mean, there are some people out there, which I'm not even gonna name them because they're worthless, not even worth me mentioning by name right now at least, who have said in the past that their whole point is to give people a problem that they don't even understand, okay? And the people that they don't even understand have good reasons for things that they think. And you do not. You are just contrarian in the name of communism, and it doesn't help that the few people I'm speaking on are pedophile apologists. So, I mean, choose your camp, dude. Either you are with the camp of weakness, the camp of, worthless people, or you are with the camp of people who take an issue with nonsense. Okay? It's one or the other. And leftists, if leftists are to take issue with nonsense, then there's going to be a lot of infighting. Okay? Believe it or not. And this is very easy to recognize. And all you have to do is just go over their history and look at what they are currently. Okay? This all is very easy. I don't have to actually explain much of this, but, some of you don't understand these very basic things. And that's where I'll leave it. Yeah.